Martin, thank you so much for joining us here today at FF News' coverage of Sibos 2022. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Doug. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, Martin, for our viewers, could you tell us your name, your job role, and your organisation, please?
Yeah, of course. I'm Martin McCann. I'm the founder and the CEO of Trade Ledger.
Amazing. Could you tell our viewers as well a bit more about Trade Ledger too?
Yeah, certainly. My favourite topic of conversation. Trade Ledger is a software provider to commercial banks. We build software that helps banks to digitize the process of providing different types of lending and credit solutions to their business customers to enable businesses to be able to better manage cash flow.
Amazing. Now, I think businesses of all shapes and sizes, but especially the small ones, probably had an interesting 2020 all the way up to where we are now. Mm-hmm. What do you think were some of the biggest innovations that Fintech was used to help these businesses, and how was Trade Ledger a huge part of that?
What really interestingly, my opinion is that business banking is not nearly as digitized as retail banking, and that was showing up through the pandemic period. When offices were shut, people couldn't actually do paper-based processes because they weren't in the office. So what it really showed up was the disparity between the digitization of retail banks, where we do everything on our app, versus business banking, where you still need to talk to a relationship manager. Probably don't need to go into the branch that much. But all those processes failed during the pandemic, and now there's a rush to catch up with the digitization of the basket of banking services that businesses need to consume in order to operate and to drive the economy going forward. So the biggest innovation in the last 3 years for business banking has been automation and digitization using software.
Absolutely amazing. Now, I think you can see that globally as well. As Trade Ledger, do you help institutions manage their business customers better across the world?
Yes, we do. We are a global software company, and in fact, today our largest customer, in that they are the largest trade bank in the world, HSBC, just announced the partnership that they have with us. So we're actually working with them across now 13 countries, where we've digitized a very complex lending product which is used for SMEs, mid-market and large corporate customers. The product's called Receivables Financing, and the innovation that they announced in the market today was Digital Receivables Financing, which we have co-innovated with them over the last couple of years. And that's a digital version of a product which was very, very manual, to the point where it took about 2 months to actually process a customer through the product to get a drawdown of cash previously. And that's the same for all banks. HSBC wasn't any better or worse than anybody else. Now it takes 2 days using our software.
That's absolutely amazing. And you know, from HSBC, obviously they now provide a revolutionary service to their customers. You know, but can you tell us through the process? Obviously you co-created it over a couple of years. What was that partnership like, and what's it going to mean for Trade Ledger?
So we've had a very productive partnership with HSBC over that period of time. It's not a natural fit that people would think being successful, the world's largest trade bank and the world's smallest provider of bank software, which we were at the time we started working with them. But actually we managed to get across the differences and the difficulties and ways of working over the first year or so. Yeah. And we managed to bring the best of both organizations in to create real innovation for business customers of HSBC. So what we ended up doing effectively is helping HSBC to break through the barriers as to why they couldn't adopt new technology and data to change products and processes quicker. And they helped us to scale our business globally. So it was a good marriage in the end, yeah. A difficult dating period while big and small came together.
That's absolutely brilliant. And obviously we've talked about what it means for the bank's end customer, but let's talk about what it means on the back end. You know, removing those manual processes. You said it would take a couple of months. You know, obviously that's a nightmare for the bank's customer, but on a real term, what's it like for the manual process and the bankers behind the scenes? How have you helped them?
So what we've done is actually improved the banker's life. So you generally find for any sort of lending product in a bank, there's between 4 or 5 different bankers and different teams that need to touch it through the life cycle of the product. And most of the work that they need to do is not adding value to the customer directly. It's maintaining the product, updating the bank's position and understanding of the product, and making sure that the bank meets the many compliance and regulatory considerations that it needs to do in order to operate in that marketplace. A lot of this is based on data. So what we've done actually is basically provide them with better data. So we connect to the customer's data via API and automatically ingest it, and all of the other data sources that they would normally use in their day-to-day work. We've pulled that together in one sort of orchestrated sort of banker user experience, and we've automated the stuff, which is low value add, and freed them up in order to do more advisory or customer value add type activities. So we've really helped to reshape the I guess the role that the banker plays, and help them to focus more on their ambition of supporting their customers better by taking some of the more tedious data-related manual activities off their task and having those automatically managed through the platform.
Absolutely amazing. And lastly, we're here at Sibos 2022. What's it been like for you, and what are you excited by?
Yeah, it's great to be here at the event this week, particularly because of the stage, I guess, that the economy's at, that banks are at with innovation, and where we are as a company, because we're now in our sixth year, and with the announcement of our partnership with strategic clients such as HSBC starting to get known in the marketplace, we feel like we now have a seat at the table where we can really engage with senior bank executives to make an impact on the world. And that's really what we wanted to do from day one, is to help banks to better serve the needs of their business customers. What I discovered and what we really wanted to focus on when I started the company was the fact there's a massive supply and demand mismatch for credit to drive innovation and economic growth. On average, in any region for any sector of business, there's about a 30% undersupply of business credit, which is really constraining innovation and growth in the economy. And that's the problem we help our bank customers to solve for their business customers.
That's brilliant, because it's not just improving the lives of the business customers, it's actually bringing in new business customers at the same time, isn't it?
It is, yes. So because we create more capacity, because we automate a lot of the tedious activities that the bankers do, it does create more capacity to actually grow the business. Because the products become lower cost to serve is the term that the bank uses. It means they can actually look at providing those into different sectors which are harder to serve before, and particularly to smaller customers. But from our perspective, we're a very purpose-driven organisation, and our purpose really is to help the banks to solve that problem so that we can flow more capital into the economy. Because our view is that innovation happens where capital flows, and our mission is to help the banks to unlock that capital flow.